Okay, first thing we need to do is enable editing. So that's step number 1. Step number 2, you don't need to rename the file. Step number 2 is to remove a split and freeze panes. So click on the split button. So that's under the View tab, the Window group, split button. So there it is right there. So the split is removed. Let me notice that there was a split in the screen, and once we hit split, it went away. If you have to, go back about 20 seconds in the video, and you'll see that. So now it says to click cell A4. This is column A. This is row 4. So this is A4 right there. And we want to freeze the column titles at this position. So then we click the freeze pane button. So it's under the View tab. We're already there, the Windows group. We click on freeze pane. Choose freeze panes, like so. Now we want to scroll to row 31. On my screen, we don't have to scroll down because it shows. On yours, you may need to scroll down, which you'll use this over here to do that. So I've highlighted row 31 and click cell E31. So let's go over here to E. Here's column E, row E, so that's E31. If you want to know what row you're in or what cell you've got, you can look at it this way and see that this is highlighted. This is highlighted, so it's E31, or you can look up here where it says E31. So there's E31. It's clicked. The cell titles are frozen. Okay. So type 3 and press enter. So in this cell, we're going to press the number 3 and press enter. And then press Control Home. And that takes us up to the top of our scrolling here. Remember that we freeze the pane, so everything up above here shows up. So notice as I scroll down through here, 1, 2, and 3 stay visible as my data changes. So now step 3, we want to change the zoom size and unfreeze the pane. Click the 100% button, View tab, Zoom group. So this is Zoom groups. Click here. So that brings us back at 100%. We were in, it was zoomed in a little bit more than that before. Click the Freeze Panes button, View tab, Windows group. And then choose Unfreeze Panes, like so. Notice that that line went away. Notice what happens whenever I scroll down. Notice that one goes away. It didn't do that before, but now it does since we unfreezed it. Now we want to click cell A1, which is this one up here. Okay, so step number 4, check spelling in the worksheet. Click the spelling button. It's under the Review tab, Proofing group. Okay, so here's our proofing group. Click the spelling button. The first occurrence of hiking is found as misspelled. Select hiking with a G in the selections. So click that. Click change all. That'll change all of the occurrences of hiking without the G to hiking with the G. Change all. Okay, so notice that all of those were changed through there. If you missed that, you can skip. You can go back a couple seconds and see that changed. Okay, click OK. We already did that. Step number 5, use the fill handle to copy a formula. Click H4. So here's H, and there's 4, H4. The formula displays in the formula bar. Here's the formula bar right here. Notice that the formula is E4, the data that's in E4 times G4. So that'll be this data here in E4 times what's in G4. And 5 times 46.5, that's about 230. And the reason why we know that is, think about it. 5 times 40 is 200. 5 times 50 is 250. Since 46 is almost in the middle, notice that this value here is almost in the middle between 200 and 250. So that's probably about right. So let me click this cell again. Notice up here it says E4 times G4. Click the fill handler for C4. Point to the fill handler. This is the fill handler right here, this little green little square down in the corner here, right bottom hand corner. Double click the fill pointer. The formula is copied down the entire column. So double click that and it automatically goes down for all of our data. Now I'm going to undo that because I'm going to show you something else. Now if you want to go down here, another thing you can do is get it to where it has a little cross there. You can click your left mouse button and then drag this down as well as far as you want to go, and let off of the button, your left mouse button, and then that puts the data there as well. The first way is probably a little easier, but sometimes you don't want to go down the whole way. You only want to go down part of the way for some reason. And so I'm just showing you a different way to do that. So let's press Control Home again, and that'll take us to the top. Okay. Now for step 6, click the Themes button. That's on the Page Layout tab. Themes group. And choose Ion from the gallery. So Ion is right here, so we'll choose that. Notice that things change a little bit. The columns, the width of the columns change. I think the font, stuff like that, changed. Font size and font type changed a little bit. Okay, step number 7. Now we want to merge and center the titles. So we'll select cells A1 to J1. A1, and then what I do is to select all those, I hold down the Shift key and then move all the way over here, and it selects all of them. So what I did there, just in case that was a little bit in a hurry, maybe I didn't describe it very well, is clicked on A1, I then held down the Shift key on the keyboard, moved over to J1 with my mouse, and then hit the left mouse button, and then that highlights everything. Then you can let up off of the Shift key. Okay, merge and center cells. Okay, so, sorry, select cells A1 to J1. We just did that, and click the merge and center button. It's located under the Home tab, Alignment group. So merge and center button. We click this. Notice what it did is it took the wherever shoes and centered it between those columns. Now they want us to do the same thing for A2 to J2. So remember, we click A2, move over to where J2 is. We can hold down the Shift and then click our left mouse button, highlights everything on the row, and then we go up and click merge and center again. Okay, so now for step number 8, apply cell styles and adjust row height. So select cell A1. So this is A1, even though it's everything, it's merged them all in. It's still called A1. I know that can be a little confusing. That's why if you do something like that and you don't know really what the name of the cell is, go up here and look, and this tells you what the name of the cell is. So now we want to click the Cell Styles button or the More button. It's under the Home tab, the Styles group. So Styles group, we want to click the Cell Styles button. Cell Styles button. And select Title in the Titles and Heading category. Titles and Heading category. And they want the one that says Title right there. Okay. Select cell A2. Now I want to apply the heading 4 style. So go back here. 4 style. There we go. That changes that one. Click the font size arrow. So that's the Home tab font group. Home tab font group. Here's the font size arrow and select 14. So select 14. The font size changes. Okay. Point to the row 1 heading and drag to select row 2 headings 1-2. Point to the row 1 heading and drag to select row headings 1-2. Okay. What I normally do is select one and then I will hold down the shift key and then press my down key to select what I want. That seems to be easier for me. Click the Format button. That's under the Home tab Cells. So we want to click this and choose row height. We then want to type 22 in here and press enter. That. Then we want to select cells A3 to J3. So what I normally do is click this, and then what I do is hold down the shift key and then use the right arrow on the keyboard, select all the items. Now you may be able to use your mouse to do the same thing. Just seems to be easier for me to do it that way. From the Cells Styles Gallery, Home tab, select light yellow. Cell Styles Gallery, select light yellow. %, accent 3, there we go. Apply bold. Let's go up and click bold. Click the row 3 heading. Let's go over here and click this. Point to the bottom border of the row heading to display the resize arrow. So we go down here, and that right there is the resize arrow. Notice how it goes. There's an arrow pointing up, then there's a line, and then an arrow pointing down. Drag the resize arrow to 21.00 or 28 pixels. So then what you do is once you get that little guy to show up that I just described, hold down your left mouse button, then notice what pops up. It shows the height as being 16.5 or 22 pixels. We want that to be 28 pixels. So slowly move your mouse down a little bit until it says 28, and then you can let off. Now another way to do that, whenever we had that selected, was to go over here to the format and then do the row height. Notice it says 21, which is the normal unit there, and that's the same as 28 pixels. It's usually easier to do it this way, this latter way, because the mice aren't sensitive enough, especially in the lab, but it's up to you. It's whatever you prefer. Okay, now we click the zoom out button, then the status bar. This down here at the bottom is the status bar. So notice here, so you can see all the rows. Notice here we've got 39 rows, so what we need to do then is click this little zoom out arrow till we can see all the rows like that. Okay, step number 9, we want to change the alignment, format values. So we want to select cells D4 to F39. So let's click on D4, and what we want is through F39. So there's a couple ways of doing that. One thing you can do is hold down your shift button on your keyboard and then single click the left mouse button. That selects everything. Another way to do it would be to select your first column there, hold down the shift key, then use your arrows to move over and then down. So it's really up to you which method you use. Actually, I like the latter. I think it gives me a lot more control, but it's really up to you. It makes no difference. Click the center button, home tab, alignment group. The center is this guy right here. So notice it centers all the data. We then want to select cells G4 to H39. So we click this, and I'm going to use my keyboard to select all those values, that range of values. Then we want to click the accounting number format button. So now home group, format, and then we want this to be the accounting. There's this one right here. Notice that these become numbers, so that's good. Notice this value here has a bunch of pound signs in it. What it means is that the width of this cell is not wide enough to display the true value. But notice a few of these, like here's 750, that shows up. But anything over like $10 isn't probably going to show up properly. And we'll fix that in a minute. So now we want to select cells A3 to J39. So we want to do that all the way through here. Way I do that is click the first cell, go down to the last cell you want, hold down the shift, press the left mouse button, and it selects all of the cells. We want to click the borders drop down arrow, so that's the home tab font group. So we want the borders drop down, and select all borders. So what we're doing is we're putting lines showing all the cells, showing the borders of the cells. Now we want to click the font size drop down arrow, and we want to choose 12. So we want to increase the font size like so. Then we want to select cells B4, so here to C39. And we want to increase the click the increase indent button. Okay. This moves the label away from the border for easy reading. Click and drag to select columns A to J. So what I do is I select the A column, and then I like to use my arrows on my keyboard to select the rest. Double click the border between columns J and K to auto fit the selected columns. So you can go over here and then you can double click right there. What it does then is it auto formats each of the cells so that all the data displays properly. Okay, now we want to center and align the labels in row 3. So let's select row 3. And we'll go up here to where it says center. We'll click that. It centers all of the headings there. Okay, step number 10. Insert a column and create a pattern to fill data. So right click the column heading B. So click B and then click the right button on your mouse. Choose insert. What that does then is it pushes what was in B over to C. It pushes everything over one. In cell B3, type disk, D-I-S-C, question mark, press the enter. In cell 4, type no, and B5 type no, and B6 type yes. Then select cells B4 to B6. What I'd like to do is select that and then hold down shift and use my down arrow and then double click the fill pointer. And then what that does then is it takes that pattern of no, no, yes, and it puts 2 no, no's and then yes, no, no, yes all the way down. Okay, now we want to select A4 to A39. And there's a couple ways of doing that, of course. I'm going to use keyboard on this and then select Control. Okay, and then we want to increase the indent 1 time. So we go up here and click that and it shifts things over, and then we want to press Control Home, which takes us up to the top. Okay, step 11, rename the sheet tab. Double click the sheet 1. So this is highlighted. Double click it, and what that does then is it allows you to be able to edit the name. Press the backspace bar or backspace key and then type inventory. Press enter. Notice that changes the name. Step number 12 is use page layout view to insert a footer. So click the page layout button. Status button in the status bar. So actually what I need to do, here's the status bar down at the bottom. I need to click this that says page layout. Okay, click the center header section. Header and footer tab. Okay, click the center header section. So let's, okay, scroll up. Right here. Notice that after clicking there, the header and footer is open. If necessary, click the header. Okay. Click the go to footer button. Okay. Click the go to footer button. Okay, like so. Click the middle section if necessary. It's already clicked on mine. Click the file name button, like so. click a worksheet cell to see the file name. So let's click over somewhere else, and it changes the name to whatever the name of the file is, which is displayed up here at the top. Okay, switch to normal view. Let's go back down here. This says normal, so click on that, and then press Control Home. Okay, step number 13, change page setup options. Click the page layout tab, and click the page setup launcher. Okay, click the page tab. Okay, it's already selected. And select the landscape. Select the fit to radio button, so that means it's going to fit it to one page, and click OK. Switch to normal view. It's already on normal view. Okay, so step number 14, select a print area, select cells A1 to K11. K11 is about here, so hold down the shift and press the left button. Click the page layout button, layout tab, it's already selected. Click the print area. There it is, print area, and select set print area. Click, press Control Home. Click the File tab. Select Print. And this previews the data. Notice that this only shows the first 10 rows or so. The rest of it doesn't display. So we're able to select what we want to print. And then we can return to the worksheet. The way to do that is to click that and then save our file for step number 15.